Hey guys, welcome back to SEDUCE Me to the Demon War. So I'm wearing my green contacts because they're the only contacts I have right now, and I need to build my tolerance for circle lenses anyway if I ever want to do any kind of cosplay ever. But anyway, we're going to do James's route, I believe.
First of all, you do? Well, now you did. But one day,
James is the eldest. I'm power hungry, so I really want him because
he was originally the crown prince of the
Demon
Demon Lord's kingdom.
He's really mature,
and spent his entire life
and
training
he's the perfect
and
ruler.
studying to be the perfect ruler. It was torture. But one day, his brothers convinced him to leave the demon world with them to start new lives in the human world. He would be free of his duties and would get the chance to live a normal life. It was an opportunity he grabbed onto. He's very smart, and he's a quick learner. You could give him any book on any subject, and he can be a master at it within minutes. That's what you get when you were expected to study everything as a kid and are an incubus. He is also a little dominant. His fight with Malix gave you a small taste of his personality in battle, especially when he used his magic demon gun. Who knew demons had guns? Anyway, besides for all of that, he's a really nice guy. James is the perfect
Him and Eric
gentleman.
are my favorites.
However, his destiny as crown prince haunted him as Diana appeared. You see, Diana was specifically set
I thought she
to
had her
marry
eye on
James
Damien
because he was the first in line. So when she came and saw you getting close to him, she set her sights on him. Diana tried to convince him to come back with her. But his love for you and his will to be free of his destiny was stronger than she could ever fathom. She left, and you two pretty much lived happily for a whole 2 years. During that time, he took the reins of the Anderson Toys company
I know my sights,
and became the CEO,
hungry. He became
bringing
the
it to new
CEO.
heights. From what I hear, it's now a Fortune 500 company internationally. Kinda cool,
Pretty good.
huh? But yeah,
He's up to
that's
standards.
all about James. He's pretty cool. Great. Anyway, all right then.
You forgot.
Oh!
I do not.
Okay.
I wish to set a stone destiny. Because the fate of the abyssal plains is in the hands of the wrong man. I must set things right. I come bearing my life force as the price. Take as much as you desire, as long as my request is fulfilled.
Wow, this is really creepy.
Then, that is the price, as long as you set the
Something
stone
tells me I'm a
destiny.
little bit part of the Stone Destiny thing, or James's. My name. Ooh. Apparently I'm putting in my name. My name. I'd almost forgotten it for some reason. I clung to it by a single thread, knowing that if I let go, I'd be lost in a dark void, never to return. Why? Why was I so worried about my name? Well, it was the only claim I had to reality, especially when I was behind bars. For some reason, I was in a cell. I didn't know why. I didn't know how I got in here. All I knew was that I was in it, and I was chained to a wall by shackles on my ankles. I didn't want to accept the bars as real. I didn't want to be in a cell. I didn't want to smell the dank stench of blood and sweat emanating from all around me. But I had no choice in the matter. No matter how many times I examined my surroundings, they remained the same. I was in a cell in a dimly lit stone dungeon. The walls were unfriendly and the shackles around my ankles provided no comfort. The rags I was forced to wear barely fit and I felt itchy, filthy. Why was I here? I could hear quiet sobbing and muffled screaming from further down the passageway I was in. They reverberated from down the hall, and I knew that they must have come in from fellow prisoners that are condemned. It was very promising. I, however, only had one neighbor. In a cell beside me sat a figure wrapped in a dark purple cloak. The top of that figure's head was shrouded by both the shadows in their cell and the hood that covered their face. They never spoke, they never moved. Were they dead? I watched them closely for some time, but I never saw their body inhale, exhale, or show any sign of life. I didn't wish to think on it further, so I turned my head away. What was happening? I opened my mouth to shout, hoping that maybe someone would hear me and give me some sort of clue as to what was going on. As I tried to command my voice to speak, however, the sound of a large door opening echoed through the dungeon. I turned my head towards the direction of the sound and watched as the hall slowly began to brighten. like there was a torch moving towards my cell. I stared wide-eyed at what was approaching. Moving towards my cell was a man I recognized, one that had been close to my heart and now had a look of cold disdain in my eyes. Let me guess, James. Hey, babe.
You still live. I'm surprised.
See, you got some purple contacts. Who is this girl?
You piece of filth! How can you dare
Who
show
are you
your
talking
face
to?
again?
Because I'm in the cell. Oh, you're talking to him.
And you live too. How resilient you both are.
We're not so weak as to bring under your
Traitor.
sins, traitor. After all, unlike you, I carry pure Lilith blood in my veins. In that human, the one you love, is more powerful than your pathetic mind.
Oh snap, are me and Diana on the same team? I opened my mouth to speak but felt something hold back my voice. It was as if a vice had tightened over my vocal cords and denied them any chance to create sound in my throat. James smirked and gripped Diana's chin, making her snarl louder.
Anyone can be broken. It just takes time and patience. Both of which I have in abundance.
Fucking monk!
James tightened the grin on her chin, digging his fingers into her jaw. Diana could only wince and glare at the ones holding her. I felt fear run through my body as his lips curved into even more a devilish smirk. How could he look so evil?
Be patient, woman. You'll have your
Is it my
turn
turn?
soon.
As James turned to me, I felt my body suddenly heat up. His eyes were glowing in almost sickly golden yellow as he stared into my soul and ignited my core with heat and desire. I felt dizzy and weak, my mouth falling open to allow a silent sigh to escape from my lips. What was happening? He phased through the cells. At the same time, I felt uncanny and unnatural elation for the man approaching me with a smirk that tore at my heart.
Well, time to dine.
Don't you
Oh,
fucking
snap.
touch her!
Oh, snap. Diana, save me! Oh shit, he just shot her! I could only watch as Diana jumped back and held her chest, blood oozing from between her fingers onto the ground. She stared at James in both pain and surprise before crumpling to the floor and exhaling the last breath she would ever take. My mind was caught in a frenzy of emotions. While I felt shocked, terrified, and mortified at what had happened, my mind continued to dance in the desirable ways that ran through my body. Why couldn't I control myself? The pistol in James's hand disappeared as he let out a sneer of irritation.
Damn it!
He then looked over at me, towering over me as I both cowered in fear and melted against the back wall of my cell.
Looks like you'll have to give me twice the amount of energy from
Oh
now
snap,
on.
dude. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell him not to hurt me. My voice began to press against the vice holding it and wanted to explode out. James' shadows consumed me and I let out a scream. Then I woke up. I shot off my bed, panting wildly as my heart pounded hard against my ribcage. I gripped my hand over my chest, feeling my pulse beating underneath the skin in a frantic rhythm and time my hastened breath. I heard the faint echo of my scream bounce through the room as I let reality sink in. It was a dream and I was awake now. Everything was okay. Everything was...
Love?
My heart froze and I felt my body tense up at the sound of James's voice beside me. My heated cheeks reminded me of the tears I had shed in the dream who had caused them. I strapped my head aside to see James, the man whom I loved, but also the man who terrified me, looking at me with a face painted in concern and worry.
Love, are you okay?
I'm okay when I'm around you, James. Oh, that's not what it says. I couldn't control myself as I quickly rolled out of bed and pressed myself back against the far wall, staring at him in absolute terror. James only stared back at me, still shocked and now troubled. He didn't move, most likely not wanting to frighten me further. Images of the dream I had began to replay in my head, replacing the James in bed with the James that towered over me in that dark jail cell. My thoughts slowly melted and I felt myself start to cry once again. This time my heart began to ache as I realized whom I yelled at. I lurched forward and practically jumped at him, who opened his arms wide and wrapped me in them as they landed against his chest.
Shh. There's nothing to be sorry about. It was only a nightmare.
All of these
I'm
are
right here.
ever just nightmares, right guys? Nothing to worry about. It felt so real and yet I knew that it couldn't have been. James was right here, protecting and comforting me, proving the love he had for me. He would never hurt me. Ever. Never. Ever. That's a safe word to say. Never ever.
Are you alright?
I'm fine. What time is it? James gently hugged me tighter to his body as he looked over to his nightstand and his phone, which was docked in a fancy speaker charger.
It's 3:40
Oh, how
a.m.
nice. I gripped his shoulders and looked at him apologetically.
Please don't worry about it. My beautiful fiancé is much more important to
I
me
know,
than
James.
sleep.
He said fiancé. I couldn't help but feel my face heat up, letting a blush run against my cheeks. It was true. I was his fiancé. He asked me to marry him a couple of months ago, and I accepted his proposal, wanting to be his wife. Just thinking about the idea of being with him forever made the imaginary butterflies in my stomach dance around happily and flutter their wings against my heart. It was a dream come true. We were gonna be a power couple.
Are you feeling cold?
I'm just happy. As I leaned up and kissed his cheek, he smiled and kissed mine in return. His lips sent another euphoric shiver down my spine. I felt joy run through my veins. Wasn't long, however, before I felt something gently brush against my hip. I looked down as James cleared his throat in embarrassment. Whoa, dude.
I'm sorry, I can't exactly...
Whoa, that's really sport.
My excitement when you say things like that.
Okay, so every single time I wake up from a terrible nightmare, we either have sex or just go to sleep. So I'll just go ahead and do the other thing. Again, skip to wherever you want to go if you just want to skip this. Otherwise, I'm just going to go through it awkwardly. Okay, guys, here you go. Pause if you want to read it. I'm only going through it for you. You know, those of you who enjoy this kind of thing. Very scandalous stuff. Very soothing, smooth music. And going over stuff. Very passionate writing. Always very long. Yep. Things to do.
As you wish.
Doing stuff. Because the nightmare is nothing to be worried about. Like, I only like to see all the guys I'm gonna marry just try to kill me in my sleep. Anyway, we both go to sleep. The morning was kind, James and I sweetly awakening before our alarms. Oddly, I felt well rested and ready for the day ahead. As I looked at James, who was still holding me, he opened his eyes slowly and smiled down at me.
Good morning.
Oh,
you
did
sleep
I?
better?
Do we have to get up?
Unfortunately, we do. You have to organize more wedding arrangements, and I have to go
True.
to work. Yes, I do. Now come on,
He has
let's go.
Sasuke hair, kind of, I just realized. I can't help but whine. I wanted to stay with James in bed just a bit longer. However, since he was the CEO of the toy company, he had many obligations to attend to. Not even his future wife could pull him away from those duties. As James sat up, he took me up into his arms and kissed me lovingly, making a smile grow back onto my cheeks. I couldn't be annoyed for long whenever he kissed me. We went downstairs and had breakfast together before he went to work. It was always depressing whenever he left me alone in the house. However, he was the CEO and I was currently still in school getting a degree. Luckily for me, all my courses were online, so I didn't have to leave the house to get the degree I wanted. Attending classes in pajama was always better than having to put on regular clothes. I love online classes. I stretched and yawned, slightly tired from waking up in the middle of the night. As I thought about that moment, I couldn't stop the nightmare. Images of my nightmare flashed through my mind. Quickly, I shook my head. It was just a stupid dream, and nothing to worry about. Before that night, I had wonderful dreams of James and I preparing for the wedding and eventually seeing each other at the church. He hadn't seen my dress despite trying to, so he'd be stunned and I would be blushing and smiling from ear to ear. That one nightmare, however, worried me. What if it was an omen, a sign? I wrapped my arms around myself, feeling a cold wave of nerves rush against my skin. My first instinct was to call Naomi or Suzu just to vent about it and get it out of my system, but if there was something supernatural at work, they wouldn't understand. So have I still not told my friends about my husband being a demon, or?
Hello?
Hey, Sam. Apparently I'm calling you. Is Carrie awake, whoever that is?
Dude, why are you calling?
Sam, you dork. Give me the phone. I know it's her.
Doofus, calm down.
Mine. Haha.
I smiled. Carrie was Sam's wife. Yep, I said it. Wife. They had been married for almost a year, and despite sounding like they were always bickering half the time, they truly loved each other. Sam had met her while investigating a haunted house. She had been there as an architectural consultant as they clicked as soon as they both left. Aw, that's cute. Apparently she was a witch, a person who had granted permission to know about magic and otherworldly creatures by the angels and was gifted with both demon and holy magic. I'm not sure how true that is, but I wouldn't know anything. I only got to know about otherworldly creatures because I was in a relationship with one and marrying him. Hey Carrie, are you free right now?
Huh? Well, I kinda just got out of bed, but let me check my schedule, okay? Give me a sec.
I heard Carrie climb over Sam at one point, making them swear at her before he'd grown in defeat at the situation. A couple of book flips from the other line, Carrie finally shared.
I don't have anything scheduled for work today, so I'm all free. What do you need? Wedding
No,
advice?
not that. Mind coming over? I kind of want to ask you something. I heard, like, child laughter. Oh, wait, no, that was Eric, sorry. I've been having these crazy dreams. Yeah, in this one, James was stealing energy from me, and now is in a jail cell, and he shot Diana.
Sure thing. Sam's got work today. It'll just be me. I'll even bring some pizza and stuff so we can have a fun girls' lunch.
Pizza's always good with me. The phone call ended and I let out a sigh. This will be good for me. Carrie might be able to help clear things up. I decided to clean as I waited. The mansion was huge after all and never stopped collecting dust. Soon enough, however, she came by with 2 pizza boxes in one hand and a large bottle of pop in the other. I couldn't help but feel my stomach gurgle at the delicious smell. She brought deep dish pizza. We settled into my room, made my bed in our picnic area. We laid out a blanket so we didn't get crumbs on the bed itself, but we liked our makeshift eating spot.
So, what's going on? Are you having premarital trouble?
It's not about a marriage. Just, nightmares.
Huh? A nightmare? Was it really
Yeah,
bad?
I mean, Diana got shot.
Maybe I should have brought alcohol.
Perhaps. Apparently she thinks it wasn't that terrible, but it was pretty bad, I would say. I rubbed the back of my neck. I had to relax. It was a nightmare, nothing real. I shouldn't have been able to talk about it. I sighed and looked up at Carrie. It was about James. He was holding me in a jail cell. He was evil, and Diana was there.
Diana? The succubus that tried to take
Yeah,
the boys
her.
away?
She was trying to protect me, which is interesting.
Protect you? How?
My mind replayed the nightmare. Let me turn on my light. He came into my cell. He enthralled me and Diana shouted at him to leave me alone. Then Carrie reached over and placed her hand on my shoulder, making me lower my head. It was strange to think about Diana protecting me. Yet I could feel the anger in her voice when James tried to approach me. She truly sounded like she had wanted to protect me. He shot her with his demon gun, and when she died, he came after me.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
It may have not been real, but my body couldn't help but quake in fear when recalling the nightmare. I shook my head and looked at her, needing to know what was going on. Do you think this is an omen? This nightmare can't just be a dream. Carrie ran her hands through her hair and stared at the blanket beneath us. She bit her lower lip as she contemplated, which made me worried.
You said a jail
Yep.
cell? Like in a medieval
Appeared
castle?
so. She shook her head again and ran her hands through her hair once more before looking up at me.
I don't know if this is connected with that dream, but I've heard rumors about the abyssal plains being in utter chaos.
What do you mean?
I don't know what's happening exactly, but for the past 2 years, the demon world has been emitting some really bad energy. Even the angels are taking note of what's happening. They're even neglecting their duties to go to the
Because,
demon world
go towards the
themselves.
danger. That threw me off. According to Carrie, angels were extremely devoted to watching over the human world. They would never skimp duties to even think about the demon world. Carrie shook her head.
The only place I could imagine jail cells like that being used for prisoners is in the abyssal plains. But you and James are here in the human world, so it makes
Because
no
that's the weird
sense.
thing about this. She abruptly moved from the bed and reached for her purse, digging through it and practically sticking her entire arm into it. I swore she was Mary Poppins the day I saw her do that the first time. Apparently, it was a demon-branded bag called the Endless Satchel, only found in the demon black market, the human world. It wasn't just bag on the inside, it was a void. You could stuff anything in there and be able to pull it back out with ease as long as you pictured it in your mind. Carrie pulled out something wrapped in dark green silk. As she unfolded the cloth, she revealed a deck of cards. On the back of each card was a black pentagram with small, almost unreadable markings around it. On the faces, however, were different hand-painted images that helped me realize it was a tarot deck. They were warm, but they still emitted a power that made me a shiver run down my spine.
It's been a while since I've used this, but it might be able to shed some light on the
Let's
situation.
do it. The cards practically danced and glided between her fingers as if they were alive when she shuffled them in her hands. Eventually, she stopped and the deck settled together in her grip. She gently drew 3 cards from the top of her deck, setting them face down in front of her, and placed the remainder of the deck on the nightstand. She flipped one over, revealing a wheel with multiple symbols on it. As I stared at the card, the wheel seemed to spin on the face of the card, making me slightly dizzy. Carrie mumbled to herself as she examined the card.
The Wheel of Fortune. Could this be about the demon world changing? No, it can't just be that. Someone changed something in the past and disturbed the fate of the abyssal planes.
I looked at a card, taking note of what Carrie had said aloud. There were many things that I knew I had personally changed. I wasn't destined to get the Anderson Toys Company. I met the boys to learn about magic, and I was going through a big change in my life with my upcoming marriage. Carrie moved her hand and flipped over another card, revealing a figure with a sword in one hand and scale in the other. Staring at the card, I swore I heard angry whispers in the air around me.
Justice? What could this be about? Could the change in the past be something so big that it demands justice's attention?
My mind began to replay every choice I made in my life and fast forward. My decision to let the boys stay, to defend the boys against Malik, to stand up to Diana. Everything rolled past my thoughts. Was one of those decisions one I shouldn't have made? I didn't get to think on it as Carrie flipped over the third card. As it was revealed, both Carrie and I gasped.
The King of Swords? But that card is not supposed to look like that.
Ooh, that's creepy. A king figure sat on a throne with a large sword in his hand as if he was ready to attack the viewer. However, the card looked like a black and gold demon I recognized. James? The picture, despite being simple, was powerful enough to make a shudder run through my body at the sight. As we stared, however, the nightstand that held the remaining cards began to quake, forcing me and Carrie to look over in surprise.
What
Oh snap! The tarot cards burst upwards and began to fly through the air. The sounds of battle and war emanated from them and raged through the room. Carrie quickly moved to shield my body with hers as she covered her ears. I covered mine as well, but that didn't stop the sounds of blood and clashing swords from digging into my senses. I could almost feel the heat and danger of the image of war that were the sounds painting against my skin. As the sound stopped, I looked up to see the cards float down onto us, now lifeless and all of them torn in half right down the middle. As they landed, however, I stared in shock at what I saw on each half card's face. Carrie looked up and gasped as well.
Impossible.
Dude, that's spooky. I saw a weeping boy with James' demon horns and a crown on his head. He was reaching back towards the tier that divided them from the other half of the card where the girl was. My heart practically stopped. Was this really happening? I couldn't believe my own eyes as I stared at the cards in front of me. A nightmare began to flash before my eyes, causing me to grip onto myself and shiver violently from the fear bubbling in my core.
Hey, shh. It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes the cards are wrong. This can't be right.
How could I believe her? I was staring at multiple torn cards showing me the exact same message. I gripped to Carrie, feeling extreme fear and sadness run through my body.
Hey, look at me.
I looked up at her. She gave me a small smile as she squeezed me gently in her hug.
Magic is fickle, okay? The cards aren't always correct. Fate can always be changed.
If
Remember
yes, say
that.
so. I knew she was trying to make me feel better. I knew that there was something going on. However, as the thought of my marriage came up, I knew that I had to calm myself down eventually. There were cards in my marriage were still happening, regardless of what they said. I closed my eyes and slowly started to ignore the signs, the cards, and the nightmare in my head. This wouldn't help me, and I had to prepare for my wedding. Oop. Okay guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. So, James's part is really intense, but I'm enjoying it. So, leave a like if you like this. If you have any suggestions, forget to leave them below. And if you want more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one.